I wanted the theme today to be kind of around living large and getting out of your comfort zone. I know this is one of your pet topics. You've got a number of pet topics, and you've used the phrase I believe at some stage, living a 10 out of 10 life. What does a 10 out of 10 life mean to you?
When I think about life and the world, I approach it in two ways. The one is I get very big and I see all the big picture stuff and the patterns and what's going on, and I come to the conclusion we live in a very fucked and messed up world. And that makes me really depressed, okay, and really pulls me down. But when I hyper focus and I'm suddenly living in the moment, in the day, and it's now, that's when, it's like smell the roses,
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah,
That's a 10 out of 10, So it's just how you show up and how every day and moment is for you. And of course, every moment is not like that in life. You wake up some days you feel terrible. You're not feeling like a 10 at all. But the 10 is the goal.
yeah,
That's like the ultimate, because what I do is I actually ask people and say, so I get a group of people in the room and I say, okay, here's a statement. I'm living an extraordinary and an amazing life. Okay. I want you to score yourself out of 10. If you're a 10, you're a fucking legend. All hail to you. If you're a 1, it's a disaster, or you're somewhere in between. Okay. So that everyone puts up their hands. So now there's something going on here. Everyone's being influenced by the judgment of others. Okay. No one's going to put their hand up and say, yeah, I'm a 10, because, because people got to go, mate, like, put your head in, stop being an arrogant dick, sort of thing. So the average is always about a 7,
yeah,
it's always a 7. Yeah. And so that's an interesting point of departure when you're talking to people who want to live happy, fulfilled, meaningful lives, because we have a very good quality of life in Australia. We're very lucky here, we have, our health's taken care of, our this, our that, our food, we've got, in terms of the Maslow hierarchy of needs, we're like well looked after. So like we all, a 7 out of 10 is, for many people in the world, that's a great existence.
yeah, yeah,
But what about people who are living a 7, but they still fundamentally dissatisfied and not fulfilled? And that's where the 10 comes in. It's like, what's missing? What are you holding back on? There's a handbrake happening here. What's causing that? What's that about? So that's what I use that to try and nudge people up. Yeah.
yeah,
Some people say to me, yeah, but like, if I'm a 10 today, there's no room for improvement tomorrow. Like, well, what am I going to do tomorrow? And I'm going, yeah, well, that's assuming that you are alive tomorrow, because that's an assumption, because you might not be, because some people today who are alive right now will not be alive tomorrow. So if you're like waiting for some day or one day to be a 10, you might not get the chance. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So there's this idea about now is the time, now is the day, now is the moment, and when you do need to show up in life, for big things, like for me, it's a big presentation or it's a big client meeting or it's a big, or whatever, like I want to show up and be a 10, you know what I mean? And so, but I don't show up to my cat and be a 10 when I get home, you know what I mean? Because my cat doesn't really care. So it's sort of those moments, where you're on and you got to show up and this is it. And then like, okay, here we go, and give your best and be your best. And too many people just don't live their lives that way. They just fail to do that. And then they look back and they go, oh shit, yeah, okay. What was that about? Yeah. So that's kind of how I use that
yeah.
to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, the whole thing too is, I mean, that's less. I take it you're less about the toys and all the fun, all the things that cash can buy, but more of an inward-looking being yourself. And I know you're big on authenticity, and
Yeah.
and you push people. I've sat in some of your talks, and you push people in terms of getting out of your comfort zone. So the people who are saying they're 7s. Do you put the question up to them about their comfort zone and how many of them are pushing out of their comfort zone? Because a lot of people don't do it historically.
That's right. Well, the 7 is the comfort zone. That's the metaphor. That's
Right.
what it is. That's the
Okay.
default setting. The
Right.
default setting is I'm a 7. It's a reasonable number. It's a very sensible number. It's a good position to take. It doesn't require me taking any too rash risks or anything. And that's off we go. And it's like, okay, so when you die, will you be happy if I engrave on your tombstone, he was a 7? Is that the legacy in the life you want? No, it's not. No one wants that. Yeah. So what's the deal? And then I start to help people unpack for themselves what are the things that are holding them back. Fear of rejection, a fear of standing out, fear of looking stupid, fear of being wrong, fear of judgment, all these things that stop us from speaking up and saying things perhaps and holding us back, and that's what kind of then gets in the way. And when they start to realize that, they realize the impact of that on their lives, and the quality of their lives, and a lot of these fears, like if I'm fear of being judged because there's a voice in my head, and there's always a voice in my head. There's a voice saying, I'm an idiot, or there's a voice in my head saying, yeah, I'm stupid and no one's going to like me. Now, if you go around listening to a radio station all day that's saying that to you, I'm not likable, people don't like me, I'm an idiot, I'm stupid. Well, you're not going to go around, putting yourself out there. You're going to hold back and kind of, because everybody wants to kind of navigate the world in a way that they come out looking good and they're not too judged or hated. And, people are playing that game, looking good, not looking bad. And it's all bullshit, and it kind of gets in the way of living your life. And so I don't tell people that, but I kind of help people find out for themselves what it might be, what's in the way for them.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it lands and it works, and they go, oh shit, and they see things, and there's a breakthrough in that moment, where you recognize that I've been telling myself for years and years that I'm a bad person, and that ain't helping my cause here, so I need to, and then I'll turn to people who go, so somebody will say, I'm a bad person. And I go, yeah. So I was like, who works with John? Oh, we do. So is John a bad person? Are you surprised that he says that? And they go, no idea where he gets that from. He is the most amazing guy, yada, 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 yada. So then you kind of go, yeah, so I'm a bad person is a story you've made up. Yeah. Maybe it goes back to when you were a kid or whatever. It's completely bullshit, but it's running your life in some really important fundamental ways, and you want to get rid of that or start changing that. And the first way to do that is to actually talk about it and share it and put it out there. And then people go, no, you're not that person at all, mate. You're fantastic, Yeah. So, and then that's like, oh, okay. And that sort of helps people, transform and then kind of move on and then be themselves and be more authentic,